Now, here we have two of the oldest pictures of the auction, dating back to 1802, or thereabouts. So we have two fine watercolours, both of County Wicklow, and these are executed by Sautelle Roberts. Sautelle Roberts trained to be an architect like his father, who was a famous Waterford-based architect. And his brother Thomas was a famous Irish painter who died very young, less than 30 years old. After his brother died, Sautelle Roberts took the name Thomas as his first name, so he became Thomas Sautelle Roberts. Some people say unkindly that he was using his brother's reputation to sell his pictures, but he was a very fine painter, particularly his watercolours, and the engravings that were made from his watercolours are very, very detailed and very popular and of great historical interest. The first one we look at here is a very pleasant rustic scene, though rustic with a touch of industry, as we'll see. Here in the foreground we have some farmers collecting hay. You can see the hay rick here and the hay cart going across the little bridge. Now, the scene, of course, should be very familiar to a lot of you because it's the meeting of the waters, which was, of course, made famous by Thomas Moore's song. So we have the River Avon Beg and the River Avon Moor joining together here in this lovely valley. There's a lot of activity here, and the activity really stems from an industry which was the mining industry, the copper mines of Wicklow, the Cronebain mine. And here at the top we see this fine big house which belonged to Captain Abraham Mills. He was very active, by the way, in the 1798 rebellion and putting down the rebels. But anyway, he made a fortune out of this mine, the Cronebain mine, and that's his house. Here's the mine workings. Lots of little houses around, and these will be houses of the workers in the mine, most of which have disappeared today because the mine eventually closed and disappeared. But it's a nice juxtaposition, if you like, of an idyllic rural setting, a beautiful setting here, and a bit of industry on the side. And then we will move on then to the next picture, which is the picture of the Military Road in Wicklow. Right, the Military Road, Wicklow, is a famous road. It was started in 1800 and finished in 1809. The reason behind it was the 1798 rebellion, which worried the authorities. Wicklow was a terrific haven for rebels who could hide away up there and attack at will. So the Military Road effectively put paid to the activities of a lot of the men of the mountains in Wicklow. But here we see this dramatic scene where we have here on horseback the Earl of Hardwicke, the third Earl of Hardwicke, who was the Lord Lieutenant of Ireland, so he's coming to inspect this huge construction. He, in fact, was quite a good patron of Sautelle Roberts and bought a lot of his paintings and supported him. So he figures very prominently in the painting. The Lord Lieutenant is talking to a Scottish soldier here who would have been protecting the engineers. We see a lot of it. We're facing towards Glencree here. These cliffs here lead down to Upper Loch Bray. And in the foreground here we can see part of the encampment for the engineers and soldiers. And further back we can see where the sun is shining down, another encampment here. So it's quite a huge project. We see smoke here coming up from an explosion where they were blasting the granite and making the road. So it was a huge undertaking at the time, very dramatic and very interesting picture. And again, I think prints have been made of this. It certainly is a collector's item. These watercolours are extremely rare. You very, very seldom see them outside of institutional collections like National Galleries and so forth. We're very lucky to have this pair, and we think they will be keenly sought after by collectors. Interestingly, just one other little point on this painting is the portrait of the little portrait face here, and some of the figures were not drawn by Sautelle Roberts, but they were actually executed by Thomas Comerford. Comerford was a very well-known miniature portrait painter, so Sautelle Roberts subcontracted out the painting of some of the faces in the picture, so it makes it very, very interesting altogether.